Phase 2 of Project Milestone has officially gone live on the beta server. In this video, I'll do my best to walk you through all of the changes and explain them as best I can. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or to let me know in the Adothria community Discord. The link is in the description. In case you're unfamiliar, Project Milestone is a major multi-update project which aims to overhaul many core gameplay loops and to introduce various new ones which will majorly change how the game plays. Phase 1 was the Gatherer profession becoming Botanist, which has been in the live game as of September 3rd, 2025. Phase 2 divides each profession into distinct milestones and improves balancing drastically. This is what's currently available on the beta server. Phase 3 will then add milestone rewards and alternate leveling methods in the form of multiplayer world events, bounties, dungeons, and cosmetics, finally bringing many long-requested MMO features to the game. This video can be viewed both before you access the beta or afterwards. In fact, you could even listen to it while you explore the beta for yourself. If you'd like to access the beta, you can do so by navigating to Brighter Shores in your Steam library, right-clicking it and selecting Properties. Then select Game Versions and Betas in the list on the left. Next, make sure you enter the beta password into the Private Versions text field on the bottom of the window. The password for this beta is Jade Monument. One word, all lowercase. Once you select Check Code, you can freely switch between the live version of the game and the beta from this menu for as long as the beta lasts. Once you're in, you'll need to accept the terms and conditions, after which you can import an existing character or create a new one. All progress on the beta server does not carry over to the live game, and deleting a character on the beta does not affect your character on the live game either. Any bugs you find or feedback you have can be sent to bugs@venresearch.com. Alternatively, you can let me know on Discord and I'll pass it on to the team. Happy testing! So Phase 2 is what's currently available on the beta. Let's quickly establish a baseline. The focus for this phase is to divide each profession into distinct milestones with no content repetition within a milestone, provide a huge number of balancing improvements and fixes, make leveling up feel significantly more rewarding by introducing milestone rewards when you reach a new milestone, and to make milestones feel more distinct by introducing new ways of leveling up as you progress. The last 2 points, specifically, will be massively expanded on by Phase 3 of Project Milestone. Right, let's go over the actual changes. Starting with the elephant in the room, every profession is now split into milestones. If you open the professions window, you'll immediately notice that levels are no longer ranging from 0 to 500, but are rather displayed as a milestone number and your level within that milestone. Each milestone level represents 50 levels in the old system, so level 500 equals milestone 10, and level 2000 combat equals milestone 40. Clicking into a profession now shows you your progress within that milestone, your progress within the level, and your progress towards your next knowledge point, alongside the amount of knowledge points you have invested into that profession. Here, you can also select to temporarily roll back all content for that profession to a previous milestone, which allows you to collect lower tier items should you want to. Your tools have also moved, as they are now behind the button on the top right depicting a tool from that profession. Just below that, you can see the major unlocks for that milestone, such as a world event, bounties, or a dungeon. These are currently listed as coming soon, as they will be part of Phase 3. Right below this, you can see your current active and passive XP boosts, which dramatically increase with your milestone, as well as your maximum equipment grade, the associated cape for that milestone, and how many of the album cards you've collected within a milestone. Finally, scrolling through the list for a profession, you are only shown the content for the milestone you're currently viewing. You can rotate through the milestones with the little arrows on the side. If an activity is a new unlock for a given milestone, it'll also conveniently say so next to it. If you had previously collected every card in a profession, you may find that you have some new ones to collect, as loads of new activities have been added to each profession, such as the greatest fish ever, trout, being added to fisher, or boar leather being added to leatherworker, among many others. Oh, and if you achieve milestone 10 in a profession, the game now congratulates you on your achievement. Combat is a little different, however. Upon reaching a new milestone in combat, you get to select a new foe pack, meaning you are in complete control of which episode you'd like to train combat in, for a maximum of 10 milestones in the same episode. The previous milestone button here will therefore also show you which episode your current milestone stripe is in, with a previous one being in your previously selected foe packs episode. When you first log into the beta, you'll be served with this interface, prompting you to select a foe pack for each of your unlocked milestones in combat. You can elect to let the game do this for you by clicking the button at the top, or you can manually select a foe pack for each milestone you have unlocked up until this point. As for purchasing a premium pass, this will not change your selected foe packs. Your combat level also dictates when you unlock combat in an episode, with Hope Forest requiring level 25, the Mine of Mantaban requiring milestone 1, and Chronopolis requiring milestone 1 level 25, as the base foes in every episode have a fixed combat level reflecting these requirements. Speaking of fixed combat levels, boss foes now also have fixed combat levels so that you can immediately experience premium pass content if you were to purchase it, without needing to finish your current milestone. Guess what else has fixed combat levels again? Crime Den foes. The level of the crime den foe is now based off the detective level required for said crime den. This is a restoration of how it was before the combat merge, making crime dens solid combat XP at specific levels and ensuring consistency in the crime dens. Finally, 2 more small changes to combat. Passive combat will now automatically select a weapon for you to use, and the level requirement of various combat capes has been changed to be available at milestone 1 and 2, and then every subsequent 2 milestones, rather than at levels which would be in between milestones. Leveling up now also works a little differently, as there is now a brand new XP curve. I cannot currently tell you what the XP curve exactly looks like, as the team has decided that this should be a community effort. So, get your math hats on, gamers. What I can tell you is that this XP curve is a lot more smooth and has eliminated the level 200 times 4 difficulty cliff, meaning you should find leveling up a more pleasant experience in general. The interface for leveling up has also changed for both reaching regular levels as well as milestone levels, as they have been majorly simplified. To further supplement the new XP curve, activities in all professions are now spread more evenly, meaning the gaps between activities at the early levels as well as the very high levels are much more similar now. Activities that feed into one another have also had their gaps reduced. A prime example being King Felwyn potatoes, and the first recipe using them having a 38 level difference in the live game, versus just 4 with the Milestones update. You should also find the world to be a lot more refreshed every time you reach a new milestone. Remember how when you first started playing you ran into things you simply couldn't do yet as you didn't have the level for it yet? The vision is to bring that feeling back every milestone, as all of the activities in the world for a given profession move to the next skin, if you will, when you reach a new milestone. Hopefully this gives you a New Game Plus feeling. If you then attempt to do something you do not have the level for within that milestone, you'll be given the choice to perform an action from a previous milestone should you have any unlocked. You can switch the active milestone through the professions interface, or by selecting past milestone on an activity where you used to be able to select past action. In the live game, activities can feel too similar as they all progress your character at roughly the same pace, provided you do the highest level activities. To combat this, the output rewards for various activities have had some degree of tilt introduced to them to make them feel more varied. This means certain activities are now better for specifically gaining XP, whilst some are better for gaining knowledge or coins, or a mix of the above. For combat, some monsters are even specifically better for obtaining rare teardrops. You can check exactly how each activity is balanced by clicking its album card in your profession list and selecting View Rewards. In line with this, the markup charged by shops, meaning the high price for all items, has been adjusted to better balance the amount of profit you can make when solely buying the input items, rather than collecting them yourself. This makes wealth gain by relying on shops to train a lot more balanced and consistent between professions. There are still some activities in each milestone which are profitable even when buying from shops, but these are varied between milestones. Rather than just providing an outright XP boost, equipment will now provide an action boost, starting at tier 2 with the cooldown to activate said boost decreasing by 9 or 10 seconds for every tier of that tool. For example, the tier 2 fishing spear allows you to activate it once every 120 seconds, whereas the tier 6 spear allows you to activate it every 81 seconds. So what are action boosts? Well, the album card describes them as a double harvest boost, meaning you get twice the XP and twice the resources on your next action after activating the boost. You can activate the boost either by priming it through the equipment interface, or more conveniently by clicking the green icon that appears in the center of the progress indicator whilst performing an action. This will make higher tier tools more useful and more engaging to play with. Despite the introduction of action boosts, you can still enchant your tools at an obelisk to give it a permanent XP boost. Finally, higher grades of equipment are now required to perform higher milestone activities to incentivize you to upgrade your tools. Training passively has also changed a fair bit. Previously, training using a passive method, which was not your highest unlocked passive, would incur a 50% XP penalty for said passive. This has been completely removed. Instead, a ×2 XP bonus is granted to every passive, which is slowly consumed over a period of time whilst using said passive. Once it has been exhausted, you can still use that passive, you just won't receive the bonus anymore. This allows you to use a previous passive efficiently should you still need or want the resources from said activity, at least for a while. Passive enjoyers can also rejoice as all passives, regardless of level, will now only require 1 knowledge point to unlock. Any excess points you had invested have been converted to XP in the same profession. No worries though if you had been planning a party for reaching the final level. Excess KP will not finish the final levels for you, as this would be potentially quite demoralizing. Next up, let's talk about bounties. Bounties have received rarity tiers, those being common, uncommon, rare, and epic bounties. Uncommon chef bounties, for example, give double XP. The rarer a bounty is, the better the reward. This also applies to detective and merchant bounties and any future bounties that will be added. You can easily tell what rarity a bounty is by their color on the bounty board. Bounties also now have various types. For chef, for example, there are now new common tier cook-only bounties, which don't require you to deliver the food. Bounty variants will be expanded on with the bounties for other professions. Finally, bountiful milestones have also been introduced. Again, taking chef as an example, you will see that the bounty icon in the professions window for milestones 1, 4, and 7 sparkle. This indicates that these are bountiful milestones. This means that for the duration of this milestone, bounties will reset as soon as they're completed, making bounties the primary focus for these milestones. The idea here being to make these milestones feel different and varied, making the standard gameplay loop less repetitive. Now let's take a look at weapon crafting. First up, instead of each weapon crafting recipe producing weapons with a different range of levels, all recipes in a given milestone now produce the same range of equipment levels. This means each recipe now allows you to craft a weapon whose combat level is in the range of 5 times the crafting milestone to 5 times the crafting milestone plus 1. Two examples of this are the basic blowpipe recipe, which is part of Bonewright Milestone 0, yet can create blowpipes ranging all the way up to just before combat milestone 5, and the moderate throwing rings, which is crafted during milestone 1 in Stonemason, yet can produce milestone 5 until just before milestone 10 throwing rings. The Hopeport Monument has also been changed pretty significantly. It now consists of 20 stages rather than 15, with the removal of 5 regular types of monument pieces and the introduction of 10 jade variants of the remaining pieces. Each Forager milestone has 1 regular and 1 jade stage of monument pieces in it, and the number of pieces required to complete a given stage has been decreased. Any progress you have already made to the monument is carried over, with progress made on the jade stages you would have already finished, so you don't lose any progress. The regular monument pieces can be found where they always used to be, with the jade pieces being located at Starfish Point and Ray Bay. Finally, once you complete the entire monument, you can light all 8 of the braziers, 4 on the bottom floor and 4 on the top floor, after which you will unlock a 3rd venture slot. Now that we've covered the major system changes, let's discuss the changes to each of the professions. I'm gonna go through these a lot quicker to prevent this video from being any longer than it needs to be. Starting with Forager, shark bones have been added and are first unlocked in Milestone 1. Nettles and rack are now also first unlocked in Milestone 1. And pondweed and bell plants are now first unlocked in Milestone 2. For Fisher, salmon and sardines have been added, with both being unlocked in Milestone 0. The most legendary of fish, trout, have been added and are first unlocked in Milestone 1. Oysters are now first unlocked in Milestone 2, and pufferfish are now first unlocked in Milestone 2 and require pufferfish boxes from the carpenter profession to be caught. Alternatively, these can be bought from Melf in Hopeport. For chef, salmon quiche and apple pie have both been added, both of which are first unlocked in Milestone 0. Poached trout and roast chestnuts have been added to Milestone 1. Lobster thermidor, oysters with lemon juice, and omelets are now first unlocked during Milestone 2. Pufferfish sashimi is now first unlocked in Milestone 2 and can be made with every type of pufferfish. Chef bounties are now first unlocked in Milestone 1. Jellied eels no longer require gelatin. Mashing and chipping potatoes now gives 2 portions of mash or chips for each potato, and cooked dishes will be getting a use in a future update and have therefore been made bankable in preparation. For Alchemist, each potion now has 10 different tiers, 1 for each milestone. The power of existing tiers have been adjusted to reflect this. And rage potions have been added and are first unlocked during Milestone 2. These potions make non-aggressive monsters aggressive for a time, so you can semi-AFK train combat on them. Luck potions have been added and will increase the chance that your next combat drop will be an uncommon or higher quality drop. These potions are charge-based rather than time-based. Explorer potions have been added and are unlocked in Milestone 2. These potions will be used in dungeons in the future. XP mine potions are now made with a single reagent each, which are each dropped by exactly 1 foe in the Mine of Mantaman. XP Stonemaw Hill potions are now made with reelers and toadstools. You can now configure keybinds for toolbelt potions, with the default being Alt 1, 2, and 3 for the respective slots. For Botanist, thistles, bitterfruit, and chestnuts are now first unlocked in Milestone 1. Clover, sage, and the willow water venture are now first unlocked in Milestone 2. And Passive Botanist now uses seeds, which can be obtained for free from the seed rack in the greenhouse. For Woodcutter, teak, mahogany, and cypress trees have been added and are first unlocked during Milestone 0, 1, and 2 respectively. Ash trees are now first unlocked in Milestone 1, and have had their leaf shapes corrected. Bamboo is now first unlocked in Milestone 1. Willow trees are now first unlocked in Milestone 2. Various new shortcuts have been added to Hope Forest, with each shortcut being blocked by a different tier of bramble. One shortcut will be unlocked per Woodcutter Milestone. Hornbeam, Elder, Acacia, Linden, and Maple trees have been added and are exclusively used for passive woodcutter, with the other trees being exclusive to active training. For Carpenter, teak and mahogany planks have been added, which are first unlocked during Milestone 0 and 1 respectively. Pufferfish boxes have been added and are first unlocked in Milestone 2. The boxes are made from cypress branches and can also be bought from Melv in Hopeport. Passive carpenter items have been adjusted to use the 5 new kinds of branches, and there are now 2 different passive furniture assembly stations, one for seating and one for storage furniture. For miner, Durabun has been added and is first unlocked in Milestone 1. Brimstone is now first unlocked in Milestone 1 and also still requires completion of the Mantuban's Legacy quest to unlock the venture. Deathstone is now first unlocked during Milestone 1, gives 2 Deathstone per rock, and shows the danger zone for the explosives placed. Minecart work is now first unlocked in Milestone 2, with 3 new varieties of minecart work added, those being gravel, nickel, and horseshoes. The respawn speed of various ores and rocks has been adjusted to reduce downtime. For Bonewright, all Bonewright recipes require 1 fewer bone and 1 more timber than before, as this better reflects the number of bones you get from Forager relative to timber in Carpenter. Shield crafting is now first unlocked in Milestone 1. All Guardian shields are made from shark jaws and ash planks. And finally, there are now 3 different fossil assembly stations. For Blacksmith, shield crafting is now first unlocked in Milestone 1, with all cryonite shields being made from Durabun. Horseshoe making has been added as a passive and is first unlocked in Milestone 0. This passive requires no input items and does not fill up your backpack. Scrap metal recycling has also been added as a passive and is also first unlocked in Milestone 0. This passive uses the scrap metal collected in Forager. For Stonemason, all Stonemason recipes require 1 more stone than before, which brings them in line with the average amount of items used to make a weapon in Bonewright and Blacksmith. Shield crafting is first unlocked in Milestone 1, and all hammer-made shields are now made from Deathstone. For Detective, both crime dents and investigations are now so-called double-length activities, meaning they are the optimal activity for twice as long as the Spotting Thieves activity. This compensates for there being more Spotting Thieves activities. Wanted poster ventures are now first unlocked in Milestone 1. Booking prisoners and constructing crime maps have both been added as passives and are both first unlocked in Milestone 0. These passives also require no input and do not fill your backpack. Crime den raids no longer use handcuffs and have had their basic speed increased slightly to compensate. This is because using the new double reward action boost during combat doesn't work well, and handcuffs are already used for spotting thieves. Investigation bounties now give some XP for each clue found. This way, the double reward action boost works more conveniently and also means you still get some XP even if you get the wrong suspect at the end. The number of spottable thieves per stall is now determined by your currently selected detective milestone, so you're guaranteed a reasonable number of thieves for past milestones as well. For Leatherworker, the low price of all leather has been reduced as it was too high and disproportionate to other professions. This is slightly offset by the improvements made to height discounts. Boar leather has been added and is first unlocked in Milestone 1. And bookbinding has been added as a passive and does not require any input and does not fill up your backpack. And for merchant, the level at which hide discounts are unlocked now lines up much better with the level of the respective hide's Leatherworker requirement. The grapes and cinnamon ventures are now both first unlocked in Milestone 1. The bricks venture is now also first unlocked in Milestone 1, but is currently still unavailable. The tiles venture is now first unlocked in Milestone 2, but also is currently still unavailable. There are now separate NPCs for the grapes, cinnamon, bricks, and tiles ventures, allowing you to do combinations of these ventures at the same time. Leather offcuts are grouped into 3 categories, those being cow, soft, and tough offcuts, each of which have their own stall. Cabbages and pearls are now part of the trading bounty system. And lastly, the cabbage stall has moved to Twiddle Corner. Finally, there's some other quality of life changes, those being the default mouse binds have been changed, with left click now being do default action and right click being open action menu. Bounty boards now having a collectible card which grants a small one-time XP reward when you first complete a bounty from that board, and capes now also having collectible cards which grant a small one-time XP reward when you first purchase the cape. Bonus fun fact, on a technical level, even the Milestone 10 cape awards an XP drop, but as you are the maximum level, you never actually receive it. And that's everything in the Project Milestone Phase 2 Public Beta. If you haven't already, make sure you give everything a try. So much has changed and the core gameplay loops feel much better in my opinion. If you'd like to discuss these changes with me and the community, make sure you join the Adothria community Discord. The link to it, as well as our website, are in the description. Also, be sure to subscribe so you never miss one of my uploads. Thank you so much for watching and see you in Adothria. Bye!